we are continuing with our BPSC 144 course, that is Introduction to South Asia. This is Priya Pramani. So we will be learning about the chapters 7, 8 and 9 in today's discussion. We will be starting with Unit 7, that is Human Development and Regional Imbalances in South Asia. So in this chapter, we will be learning about how the people who are living in South Asia, how the population of South Asia is facing problems and how the regional imbalance is impacting their lives. So in this unit, we will be learning that in deep. So first of all, it's important to define human development. What do we mean by human development is very necessary to understand, because this is a very huge term and it requires a proper definition and proper understanding to know it better. So the most common single definition of human development is that it is a process of enlarging people's choice. So the single and common definition of human development is the process of enlarging human or people's choice. So there are three most critical choices underlined by the first human development report. So in the single and common, so the first choice was to lead a long, healthy life. Secondly, to be educated. And thirdly, to enjoy a decent standard of living. So we can see that to widening the horizon of people's choices, the most critical of them being a long, healthy life. Education is very important for human development, and also a decent standard. They should enjoy a decent standard of living so that they can move forward. Definitions put forth by the United Nations Development Program. There are many institutions who try to define human development. Among them is United Nations Development Program, UNDP in short form. According to them, human development is a process of enlarging people's choices so that they can lead a long, healthy life, to be educated, and to enjoy a decent standard of living, as we already learned. So human development empowers the people to be responsible and innovative actors. Also, people as the purpose of development and their empowerment as participant in the development process. So from this, we learn that it is important that a people or the population or the human being should be empowered enough to develop themselves. So empowerment, whether it is a decent life, whether they are getting education, where they are healthy or not, all these things impacts their development process. So human development is the expansion of people's freedom to live their life as they choose. So we can see here that if a person is living a life what he or she chooses for, is what human development talks about. Now, let's talk about the origin of human development, how this concept of human development emerged. First of all, this human development as a concept was developed by a Pakistani economist, Mehboob ul Haq, and an Indian economist, Amartya Sen. So, it is the concept of human development was a brainchild of Pakistani economist Mehboob ul Haq and Indian economist Amartya Sen. Both Haq and Sen were strongly influenced by the economic, social, and political situation in South Asia for shaping their idea. So, whatever the economic, social, and political happenings were going on in this region, in this particular South Asian region, they strongly influenced all these, the economic, social, and political changes, how they are happening, how they are taking place in this region, impacted and influenced these two economists to develop this kind of a concept. Huck and Sen's concept of human development focused on building human capabilities to confront and overcome. What to confront and what to overcome? The first thing is poverty, illiteracy, diseases, discrimination, restrictions on political freedom, and the threat of violent conflict. So, They talks about building human capabilities so that they can overcome few things which are hindering their progress towards development. And all these things that were hindering them was poverty, first of all, because if you live in a poor condition, you can't develop yourself, because you will be either illiterate, you will be not healthy, because you will not get the resources properly. So all these things will impact your development process. So poverty, illiteracy, and also disease. If you are in certain you are experiencing certain diseases, then also you will not be able to develop yourself because of your incapability to do something. Similarly, discrimination is also a factor that restricts someone's capabilities. So all these factors were the thing that a person, according to Huck and Sen, they should conquer and they should confront these so that they can build their capabilities. Now, let's learn about Human Development Index. What do we mean by Human Development Index? So, Human Development Index is a numerical measure made up of what most people believe are the very basic ingredients of human well being. So, what do we mean by this index? It is a numerical measure so that most people believe are the very basic ingredients of human well-being. It is very important to have such kind of index. It has become one of the most widely used indices of well-being around the world. It has succeeded in broadening the measurement and discussion of well-being beyond the confines of income and economic growth. So the first Human Development Index was presented in the year 1990. This is very important. You should note it down. Also, ever since it has been an annual feature of every HDR, ranking every country in the world from one to number 189. So currently, the first country which ranks one is Norway, and the country which comes at the bottom or at the last number, that is 189th country, that is currently Nigeria. So let's move on to human development in the context of South Asia. So how this human development we are now learning about in South Asia. So South Asia as a region consists of Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. All these countries we already learned in our previous chapters that these countries comprises of South Asia, and most of the countries of South Asia devoted considerable effort to reduce poverty and enhance economic growth. So why this region is under poverty? There is a reason behind that, because this region was impacted by the colonialism that was continued for around 200 years. So because of that, because of the drain of our resources, because of British colonialism, the particular region is very poor because they lost all its charm and all its resources. Many poverty reductions and economic building strategies were put forward to bring the country back to track. So, after the colonialism ends and the countries get freedom, they got independence. The main focus of all these South Asian countries was to reduce poverty and to build economic strategies so that they can bring the country back to normal. But the lack of proper execution failed to generate the coveted outcomes. So, the execution of these policies and these strategies that was not proper, and which impacted the countries. So, poverty eradication, population control, climate change, sustainable development, gender disparities are still some of the issues that South Asia as a region is grappling to achieve. So, what are the issues that is hindering South Asia's development as a whole? Basically, the poverty eradication, as I told you, that because of colonialism, there were many other reasons as well. For that, the countries belonging to this region became very poor, and it was also very difficult for them to move back to a normal position. Apart from a poverty eradication, population is also a very big thing for these region, because the population is very huge in this area, and population control was the only option left with these countries, because otherwise they were not able to meet the expectations of, and they don't have the resources to run a country. Also, climate change impacted this area a lot. Sustainable development and also gender disparities that is exists in this region, even till today, that is existing in this region. So these are the issues that is pulling back the region to poverty again, and underdevelopment, and they wanted to go beyond that, and they wanted to develop themselves, but these are the reasons that is holding them back. Now we will be now studying about the particular country's problem regarding their human development. So we will be starting with Afghanistan. Afghanistan is one of the most poorest and least developed nation, with more than two-thirds of its population living below the poverty line. It, the country is so poor and so least developed that two-thirds of the population are living below poverty line. You can imagine what will be the condition, how there is a resource scarce in this country, and how people are living in such a difficult condition. Since the late 1970s, Afghanistan has suffered a continuous and brutal civil war. So it is because of these brutal civil wars that the country couldn't uh, develop themselves properly, and which ravaged the country to a great extent. So the reason behind the poverty that exists in Afghanistan is the brutal and continuous civil war that is continuing from 1970s onwards. So this, because of this region, they were not able to develop themselves properly. So Afghanistan's Human Development Index value for 2019 was 0.511, which puts the country in the low human development category, positioning it at 169 out of 189 countries and territories. So, in the list of 189 countries, in the ranking of countries, Afghanistan's ranking is 169. That is totally below, like the rank was very low, and Afghanistan HDI value is even below from average countries in South Asia. So Afghanistan is facing such problems, and because of that, there is no or very minimum human development that we can see there. Now, let's talk about Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the eighth most populous country in the world, with a steadily increasing population. So, what is the problem with Bangladesh? What problem they are facing? It is overpopulation, and the population that is increasing steadily. And already it is the eighth most populous country, but still the population is continuing. So, one important feature that characterizes Bangladesh is rampant poverty, which varies from region to region with no consistency in its reduction. So, all because of overpopulation and because of less resources in the proper ratio with population, Bangladesh is facing poverty. Despite sluggish progress in most of the indicators, Bangladesh stands out when it comes to microcredit. It has contributed significantly to not just economic empowerment of women, but also poverty alleviation. So, Bangladesh is continuously working to get rid of this poverty, get rid of this impacts of population that is still growing. So, they have significantly worked to empower women of the country and also poverty alleviation programs. Now, let's talk about Bhutan. It is one of the most isolated and least developed countries in the world. And it ranks 8th in the Global Happiness Index and first in Asia. So, although it is an isolated country and least developed in economic terms, but it ranks 8th in the Global Happiness Index and first in Asia. So, though Bhutan's economy is one of the smallest, it has grown rapidly, making it one of the fastest growing economies in South Asia. Although the growth was immense, but it was a very smallest country. The economy is very small, but the growth is something which is very fast in Bhutan. So Bhutan's standard of living in comparison to South Asian counterpart is significant, making it one of the highest in South Asia, highest even in Asia. So the living standard in Bhutan is far better than any big countries in Asia, although it is a very small country. So we can see that how they are still progressing and still their economy is growing. Compared to other South Asian countries, women in Bhutan enjoy freedom and equality, but the literacy rate among the women is still low. So, freedom and equality for women is there, but their literacy rate is quite low. Now let's talk about India. India is among the fastest growing economies in the world, making it the fifth largest with the GDP of $2.651 trillion dollars, and in terms of USD exchange rate. So India is considered to be one of the fastest growing economies. Although its economy has been growing steadily over the decades, the growth has been uneven. So what India is facing as a problem is that there is growth, but the growth is uneven. One of the problems that India faces is poverty. Poverty still exists in India. Poverty remains a pressing issue with more visibility in the rural areas, especially among women, scheduled caste, and tribes. So, poverty exists in India and mostly in the rural areas where, particularly in the women, scheduled caste community, and tribal communities. India still needs to cater to the problem of malnutrition, especially among children under the age of 3, which is higher than any other country in the world. So this is one of the other problem that India is facing is about malnutrition among the children below the age of 3, and they stands higher. India stands higher than any other country in the world in this aspect, malnutrition. So this is something which India needs to focus on. Next comes Maldives. So Maldives is the smallest Asian country in terms of both population and area. The area and population both are very less with Maldives, and it is considered to be the smallest Asian country. Since its independence in 1965, Maldives has achieved commendable economic development. While the country was one of the poorest in South Asia in the early 70s, it is now has the highest per capita income in the region. So this is something which we should understand why, because the country it was considered to be the poorest during 1970s, but now the poorest country is Afghanistan, as we learned in our previous slides. So Maldives tried to reduce their poverty and they alleviate their poverty, and they are now stands at a position where they have the highest per capita income in the region. Despite being categorized as a least developed country, Maldives has high human development indicators among the South Asian countries. And also, Maldives is one of the most popular destinations for visiting, or it's a very important tourist place, and they generate their economy from this business. Now, let's move on to Nepal. It is one of the poorest nation with 42% of the population living below poverty line, and 42% is a very huge number. Although the government since mid 1980s has been putting considerable effort into poverty reduction and alleviation, not much progress can be witnessed. So there are continuous efforts that is made by the government of Nepal, but there is not much progress that we can witness. In terms of safe drinking water and sanitation, while it is estimated that 80% of the total population has access to drinking water, that is not safe. So 80% of population in Nepal is not getting safe drinking water, which is a very important thing to understand, because how can a person develop themselves if they are not healthy enough, if they are not having safe and clean drinking water? So this is a very huge thing that Nepal is need to address. Also, the case is worse for those belonging to the poor and excluded group in rural areas with limited to almost no access to it. So there is a population composition which are not able to get water also, and if they are getting water, that is not safe for them. So this is very important thing that is need to be addressed by the Nepali government. Now let's talk about Pakistan. Pakistan is a rapidly developing country facing a number of challenges on both the political and economic front. So, in like Pakistan tried to develop it, but there are many hindrances that is happening both in terms of political and economic front. Gender inequality is a major problem in Pakistan, registering a stark difference in the development of men and women, which is evident in almost all the sectors. So, in Pakistan, the discrimination among the genders is very rapid, and because of that, it causes a very big problem in the country. In terms of safe drinking water and sanitation, populations having access to drinking water in 2019 was just 56%, with drastic variation in urban and rural population. So, in Pakistan also, only 56% are getting access to drinking water. The other population is not getting proper access also. So they are facing these problems. Now let's come to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island nation with the highest human indicator in South Asia. So this is the country which has highest human development indicator. Sri Lanka's human development, especially its achievement in health and education, is well above the level obtained in any other country with similar to build opportunities for their nationals to harness their productive energies. So the countries of South Asia have incorporated migration as an effective tool for encapsulating nations' growth. So in South Asia, migrant is huge. It is done. It is undertaken with a huge population. Now let's know the relationship between migration and development. As I told you, migration is considered, what we have heard in news and all, it is considered to be negative. But the idea for migration is very positive as well, and it is linked with development. Why people migrate? To develop themselves, to get what they are not getting in their own country. That is the reason why people migrate. Migration and development shares a complex relationship. The movement of people in order to find a better prospects for life helps in the improvement of standard of living for them. So as I told you, whatever they are not getting in a particular place, living there for years and years, they think to migrate so that they can uplift their standard of living. Just a second. This movement allows the opening of new opportunities as well as expansion of new horizons and ideas. So, by migrating from one place to another, there are many new opportunities that a person get, and also it expands new horizons and ideas for them. In the region of South Asia, reality substantiates the precondition of migration, where migration takes place due to rising rate of unemployment, leading to vicious circle of poverty, lack of sense of security, etc. So, in South Asia, what is the reason behind this migration? Basically, it is due to high rate of unemployment, which leads to poverty as well as lack of sense of security. So, because of unemployment issues in the region, people migrate to other countries to find better jobs, to find better livelihood. Now, let's talk about the dimensions of migration, tolerance and acceptability of different ways of life. Migration is the most effective instrument to move nations towards the part of multicultural society. So, because of the existence of so many cultures together in a place, it gives rise to a multicultural society. Migration of nationals of one country to another within the region assists in improving understanding within the larger community of South Asia. It helps to dilute the brewing tension among various fault lines across the region and allows the feeling of oneness to strengthen. So, this is what how the migration is seen through the social dimension. Now let's talk about what are the challenges of migration. Everything has its pros and cons. We will be learning about challenges of migration in this slide. So one of the fundamental challenges is the effective implementation of migration as the prominent strategy for improving countries' economic capacities. So what is the challenge is to effective implementation of migration. The next is the lack of recognition of migration's development, which benefits in national policy frameworks. Third is high cost of remittance transfer, lack of productive avenues for remittance utilization, and also the suitable programs for assisting return migrants. Utilizing their skills and capital and poor links with diaspora communities are all developmental challenges. So these are the challenges which the people feel due to migration that used to happen in such a large scale. So with this, we are done with Unit 8, that is migration. In the 7th unit, we talked about human development. In 8th, we talked about migration. And in this part of the unit, we will be learning about environment and development. How environment is linked with development and how it impacts the development of a particular nation, especially the countries that exist in South Asian region. So this chapter is very important to understand because environmental issues are a burning issue nowadays, and it is very important to link the development with environment. How it is linked, how it is interconnected is very important to understand. So environment alludes to the condition where an individual, creature, or different items around us support their life. So if we talk about environment, it is the condition where an individual, creature, or different items support their life. The ideas of development and environment are some way or another profoundly associated with each other. As I told you, there is a continuous link, there is interconnectedness between the development and environment, because if your environment is good, it will produce resources, and if there are resources enough, you can develop yourself. So they are linked. There are many other angles also to understand this. One of the angle is that environment gives you natural resources which can be utilized to develop yourself. We will be learning about more in our upcoming slides. So environment includes the biological system around us that has been given to us by nature. So natural resources, when we are talking about, it is a gift of nature, and environment is that which includes this biological system. Development in the long run needs to seek after itself with the assistance of ecological conditions, as it were. So now let's understand the basic terminology for environment. What does it mean? So environment is a framework which gives regular environmental factors to the presence of various species and which is an essential for their further development. So environment is what? It is a bunch of all elements with which a living subject communicates and of all. So we can see here that how environment is a bunch of all elements, that is through which living subjects communicates with each other. It is a subject that can be organic entity, a population, a human, or entire human culture. So typically the idea of living environment is used to refer to the idea of human environment. So this is what we understand by the term environment. Now, let's talk about development. Economic development was viewed as integral to development attempts up to the 1980s. So, steadily, development came to be deciphered as multidimensional, which incorporates not only social, material, ecological, political, and social parts. So, development is multidimensional. You should understand this, you should remember this, because we can't say that only economic development is important in a country to progress. If there is economic development but there is political instability, a country can't progress, because political instability will impact the economic development of a particular nation. So there is multi-dimensional idea regarding development which requires social, ecological, political, and social parts, and together they form a situation and environment through which they can develop themselves. So this way it was perceived that there is no single model of development suitable and alluring for all nations. So each nation has their own different model of development, because of their geographical locations, because of their political the situations in the country. So that will impact them, that will be different from one country to another country. So simultaneously arises the possibility of sustainable development. What do you mean by sustainable development? Sustainable development means when you develop by keeping in mind that you should keep some resources for your upcoming generations, because nature gifted us some resources and it is our responsibility to keep those resources for our upcoming generations as well, for our future generations. So if we exploit all the resources in this generation, the upcoming generation will feel neglected. They feel very burdened because they will not have all these important natural resources for their progress. And also, if we pollute the environment now, it will impact the future generation in such a way that they will not be able to develop themselves in a proper manner. Their human development will be restricted. So, the possibility of sustainable development underscoring the inquiries identified with segment measures, chivalrous utilization of characteristics assets, and common impacts between a human and his living environment. So, now let's talk about the relationship between development and the environmental condition. What is the relationship between them? So, the region of South Asia comprises essentially of developing and third world nations. So, what were those third world countries? Why they are considered to be third world? It is because they were the newly independent countries from the clutches of the colonialism. These countries, the third world countries, comprises of Asian, Latin American, and African countries that got independent after the Second World War mostly, and regarding and during the Second World War, because they were under the clutches of colonialism, and that is why they are still developing, not developed enough, and they are considered to be the third world nations. The development process in the region has continually been presenting difficulties to the possibility of a sound environment. So, the South Asian region, as against different regions of Europe and America, is described by ongoing issues. So, there is a difference between European region and South Asian region, and we will be learning about these issues, that is separating an European region and a South Asian region, because South Asian region are facing few problems that is not there in European region. So first of all, it is destitution. Secondly, lack of education, unemployment, population pressure. That is very important in case of South Asia, because it consists of one of the most populous country in the world as well. So this region is very highly populated. So, and that is also putting pressure for economic development. So next is unhygienic condition of living, underdevelopment, degenerate political initiative and organization, and primitive monarchic politico social frameworks. So these are the problems that is very particular with South Asian region that they are facing, and this is what create difference with the regions of Europe, because the European countries are more developed. They had resources during colonialism. They gained resources. They utilizes that resources for their development, whereas the South Asian region was under the clutches of colonialism, as I told you, and because of colonialism, they can't progress themselves. Their resources were taken away, and that is what is considered to be very harmful for the South Asian region, because that is now taking place. Like, for example, the lack of education is a problem, then unemployment that is they are facing. So these are the things that separates their experiences with European region. Let's talk about the changing trends of development and their impact of environment in South Asia. So what are the changing trends of development by the time, and their impact, how they are impacting the environment in this particular South Asian region? So South Asia has lacking land resources as far as both quantity and quality. So the quantity is also reducing, as well as the quality of land resources is also decreasing. So South Asian nations need to advance land use approaches. It should be pointed towards guaranteeing the strength of the biological systems, firstly. Next is advancing regional development as a way to stem rustic to urban movement. Thirdly, securing forest resources and undertaking reforestation. So, India or the South Asian countries have seen for development, they are taking the help of deforestation, big buildings or factories and all. So there is a huge need to reforestation, because of that, because of lack of trees that we have, there are many problems that India is facing, whether it is pollution, whether it is climate change, and whether it is other problems related to the lack of trees in our South Asian region. Forests are also being cleared for various purposes, which is also impacting the ecological system that exists in a forest. So other important thing that they need to be pointed and they need to be guaranteed to develop themselves is to improve the watershed management. And the lastly, undertaking coordinated beachfront and stream bowl development and advancing soil preservation methods. So there are many issues, many environmental issues that is there in this region, which is impacting their ecology, which is impacting their development on the other hand. Now, this is a figure that is published by uh, that the figure is adapted by Alauddin and Hussain in their book published in 2001. So this figure talks about the environmental consequences of human activities in South Asia, a conceptual framework. So this image, you can see that it talks about what are the human activities that is impacting the environmental consequences in particularly South Asian region. So what are the human activities mentioned here? It is the agricultural intensification, secondly, industrialization, urbanization, and other development activities. So mainly, agricultural intensification is impacting our environment. Industrialization is the second here that impacts our environment, and that is ultimately, converting our environment in a very bad condition. Urbanization is another cause, and there are other development activities also that is taking place day by day. So in this South Asian region, these are the human activities that is majorly done, and what problems it creates and what is the pressure that India or the other neighboring India and all the other neighboring countries in this region is facing. First is intense population pressure. This population is coming again and again, because this population is one of the reason why this region is not properly developed, because resources are not enough to cater this huge population, and this region is very populous, highly populous region in the world. So first of all is intense population pressure that is impacting their development. Secondly, unsustainable land use. Thirdly, greenhouse gas emission, that we are learning in this part, that how greenhouse gas emission is impacting the climate change of this region, which not only impacting human beings because of the weather changes, but also impacting the crops, the agricultural lands, and the production of these crops. So these crops are very important, very important for a country, because that keeps a country alive, because after eating those food, we people can do any other thing. So food and crops production is very important for a country to remain sovereign, because otherwise you have to be dependent on any other country for food supply. So this greenhouse gas emission is impacting that also. Fourthly, natural resource depletion. So there is a huge depletion of natural resources that we can witness in this region, because in this region naturally there are many resources, but we are overutilizing it. Again, it is the high and unsustainable energy consumption. Air and water pollution is another cause. Because of air and water pollution, there are many fisheries, many sea level sea level ecology that is getting impacted. Also, noise pollution because of urbanization, because of growing needs of people. There is a huge impact that is generated by noise pollution. Also, loss of biodiversity, deforestation is another cause, and also which impacts, which disturb the ecosystem, and extreme climatic events took place. So these are the pressures that South Asian region is facing, and these all reasons are environmental stress and degradation in South Asia. And because of all these pressures, because of all these human activities, that these pressures are created in environment, and because of all these reasons, the countries of South Asia are not able to develop properly, because they are not utilizing their environment properly. They are overutilizing either, and there is a there is a time when it is all over. The resources are all over. There are lack of resources. The population is huge. There is deforestation. Because of that, there are many other things that is happening in the country. There is global climate change. There is greenhouse gas emission. All these are impacting in the growth of a particular region and every country that exists in that region. Let's talk about the population explosion and development in South Asia. So population, as we are learning again and again in this slide and in this today's lecture, why we are talking about population so much? Because this is one of the greatest cause behind poverty, behind lack of development, and also behind human development reduction in the numbered list, in the index. So population is a very big thing that need to be controlled by the government. Otherwise, the resources that a country have, that will not be suffice to cater this huge population. So South Asia is a home to over 1.3 billion people, and India alone tallies over a billion occupants. So India is the most populous country in this particular region, and altogether the area, the South Asian region, comprises of 1.3 billion people and counting, because the population is still increasing. No other region of the world has such genuine population issues as does South Asia. Something, the population is something that is hindering the the South Asia's development. It is not only hampering India but all other neighboring countries, because population is a big problem not only in India but all the South Asian countries as well. So because of high population, because of huge population, there are issues of unemployment, because not all of them get jobs. Why? Because there are not so much jobs created according in the ratio of the population. There is issues of unemployment. Food deficiency is another cause, because they are not able to cater, they are not able to provide food to each and everyone because of huge population and huge demand. Thirdly, it is lack of education. The infrastructure is not that in this region to cater and to address all the people, and that is why there is lack of education, and there are helpless ways of life. Qualities of these countries will be additionally disturbed. So we can see here how South Asian region is impacted by population in such a great way. Let's talk about the resource utilization and environmental quality in South Asia. So, expanded population and economic development all through Asia and somewhere else has evolved extensive expansion in the utilization of regular resources. So, throughout the majority of Asia, there have been extensive expansion in cropland. So, as I told you that this South Asian region is basically agricultural based, and crop is very important for them, the production of crop. So land under perpetual field has practically stayed unaltered for Bangladesh, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, while India and Nepal have recorded decrease in their individual regions. So there is uneven thing that is happening in this region among the countries. So for the remainder of Asia, the other countries of Asia, the region under field has. So timber is also a great source of income. It's a natural resource, and forest is also natural resource from where we can get so many things. So that is also very important. Also, the shortage of safe drinking water. We were learning it in human development in this chapter, but it is also connected here that how the shortage of safe drinking water is maybe the gravest danger to the endurance of roughly 1.1 billion individuals in South Asia. So we were learning about the percentages of people who were not getting safe drinking water, and we can see in the population term that the number is 1.1 billion individual, which is a very huge number. So it is the single greatest emergency being looked by India, Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. So what are the results? So with increased industrialization and urbanization, the agricultural nation strength of youngsters and grown-ups is under genuine danger. There is also a problem regarding removal of waste, particularly in enormous urban communities, and quick turning into an intense issue. Garbage is also an issue in this part. Also, untreated waste give favorable place to a few infections, causing different sicknesses and pandemics. That is also important. So let's talk about the regional forums of ecological issues in South Asia. So what are the hardships that South Asia are facing? That is instructive offices, healthcare facilities, access to safe drinking water, good nourishment of children, particularly girl child and gender discrimination. So these are the things that South Asia faces. South Asia's association is known as SARC, that is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. They created this SARC, community, and there are many things that they are working together. So with this, I end my lecture here. Thank you.